Research and Advocacy Officer at Judges Matter, Mbekezeli Benjamin, now joins us via video link to unpack further. Mbekezeli, good afternoon. Thanks for your time in the SABC at this hour.
Thank you, Lizo. Good afternoon.
So, in your view, the decision by the JSC is inconsistent and unfair. Perhaps you could talk to the inconsistencies that you've found on this matter.
Yes, so over the last 15 years or so, the JSC has consistently suspended all the judges who are accused of gross misconduct that might lead to impeachment. So in all of the cases, including that of Judge President Hlophe, Judge Maumela, who's the judge in the Senzo Meyiwa trial, Judge Mngudisa Tusi, Judge Makubele, and Judge Parker, in all of those cases, suspension followed automatically from the JSC appointing a Judicial Conduct Tribunal. But now, when it comes to this case relating to Judge Mbenenge, the JSC has opted to give him special leave as opposed to suspension. So we are asking, why did the JSC decide to do that? Why is it acting inconsistently in this case? Second of all, the JSC has never offered the other judges the option of special leave. They never mentioned that those judges could take special leave as opposed to suspension. All of those judges were given suspension. Again, why is that so? And the JSC has not explained that reason.
And so in view of this, from your vantage point, where does it place the integrity of the JSC at large, given the inconsistent treatment of judges accused of gross judicial misconduct?
Well, for us, it is a concern because now it shows that the JSC is not following its own practices. Second of all, because there is no explanation given, it does make us worry about the message that it sends out to the victims of sexual and gender-based violence, because this case concerns sexual harassment, which is a form of gender-based violence, particularly in the workplace and particularly in the legal profession. So we worry about the message that it sends out, that the one case that involves one of the most senior judges in South Africa, the JSC is deciding to act inconsistently. The other concern, of course, is that special leave is voluntary. So the judge decided all on his own to take special leave, and there are no conditions attached to it. So that means he could very well come back to work and no one would stop him because he decided to take special leave in the first place. And that is a risk to the investigation because the witnesses will obviously be intimidated by someone who decides to show up at work at any given date. And in fact, in the past, Judge Hlophe once took special leave and after 18 months decided to show up at work. And he said that was because the special leave at the time was was unconditional. So even in this case, we fear that Judge Mbenenge might even show up at court and there's nothing to stop him.
Well, you've spoken about how it undermines the investigation process and discourages victims of sexual and GBV in the wider context of pervasive culture of sexual harassment in the legal profession in South Africa. And so in view of this, how does it also affect the perception of the judiciary in an election year as well, from your vantage point?
Well, look, it doesn't make the judiciary look good. Because it reinforces the idea of the judiciary as being a boys' club. So if you are one of the top boys in the boys' club, then you will be treated with special treatment that is not available to everyone else. And that is a perception that one would hope the judiciary will not carry. It's a perception that will not be reinforced because already in politics, in business, we see powerful men almost always getting the better deal. And so we don't want that kind of perception to also be present in the judiciary, and which is why we're saying the JSC should come out with a proper explanation of why in this case they decided to act inconsistently.
What about, in your opinion, the complaints against judges at large, how they are handled? How does this need to change to promote judicial accountability and independence at large?
Well, the first thing is that complaints against judges should be handled much faster than what we're currently seeing. The complaints against Judge Hlophe, we know it has gone on for about 14 years now, or well, going on the 16th year, not even 14, but it's going on the 16th year. Other complaints have also taken a while. Even in this complaints against Judge Mbenenge, it was filed almost a year ago, and only now are they even discussing the issue of suspension. So 12 months later, they're discussing the appointment of a tribunal and the suspension. So that for us is not an ideal situation. And the one way that they could fix that process is to allocate more resources, so more investigators, more adjudicators, and also to make sure that they amend the law to make it much more streamlined, and so that it can move much faster.